What's up, guys? Playtest IRL here. We're here at Ichigo Con, where people play Smash and also play cards as well. So I'll be going around asking if people want to challenge a YouTuber, a Yugi tuber in Edison format. So I'll be asking around and see if I can find anybody who want to play me. All right, let's just check it out. All right, guys. We just have our first guy who wants to play. So what is your name?
Victor?
How long have you played Yu-Gi-Oh before, or how long have you been playing?
Yeah, so I've been playing like on and off for like 15 years, but mostly off.
But mostly off. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you played Edison format before?
Yeah, I've been playing for a little bit. It's really fun.
Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna challenge you and see how well you do.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Peace.
Alright, so the game starts now. The guy on the left, I have no idea what he's playing. I was gonna only bring like 2 decks with me and have other people play the decks that I was gonna make for them. But this guy actually brought his own deck for Edison, so I think he was fully prepared for Edison to pop off at Ichigo Con. So yeah, so the left side he goes Summon Cyber Valley and just passes here. On the right side I'm playing Vayu Turbo. A very spicy version because I didn't expect to play anybody who had a deck. So yeah. So I have a Raikou in my hand and I decide whether I want to set it or not. I didn't like setting it because he could simply just mind control my Raikou and then just use Cyber Valley. That's what I was gauging him to do. I summon a Vayu here and I just set and pass. So I'm not sure what deck he's on, so I'm pretty much blindsided as to what he's trying to do here. So I summon a Vayu here and I think I set a deep prison set. Yeah, a deep prison set. So if he tries to like kill my Vayu or just summon a monster that makes me discard stuff, I do have a deep prison set to deal with it. So hopefully nothing happens too crazy. So yeah. So he summons the Witch of the Black Forest here, or a Black Rose, I think, which protects the top of the card. And if it's a monster card, and then he gets to add it to his hand. However, if it's not a monster card, then it destroys itself. So he got the Cold Wave off the top, and unfortunately for him, it gets destroyed. So him with clear board, I decide to summon Spirit Reaper, so I can at least attack, take a card of his hand. I still don't know what deck he's playing, but it seems to me that he's playing a Monster Mash deck. And if he's playing a Monster Mash deck, then I don't have to worry too much about what's gonna happen. So yeah, I don't want to get Heavy Storm still. Monster Mash decks do play Heavy Storm. He summons a Sasuke Samurai number 2. This card is like a Cold Wave, a walking Cold Wave, but he has to pay 800 life points. So pretty much all my back row is done after he pays 800 life points. And it looks like he discards 3 monsters, each with different stats. And it looks like they're all level 8 here, so he brings out a Montage Dragon. And so I think it's 300 times 8, which is 24, I believe. Or maybe they're all level 10. I'm not sure. So whichever the case is, I think I got sacked by him basically. Montage Dragon will get the 300 times the level of the 3 monsters he discarded. So definitely this guy beat me. I didn't expect to get beat in the first round of the Ichigo-tan. So yeah, he definitely sacked me, and it was pretty sad that he did. But whatever the case, he did beat a YouTuber, an Edison YouTuber. So yeah, congrats to Victor. All right, on to the next one.
What is up, guys? We got another challenger up to want to play Edison format for Yu-Gi-Oh. What's your name?
Name is Daniel.
Hey, Daniel. How you doing?
Good, how are
So,
you?
have you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh before?
I've actually never played Yu-Gi-Oh before.
Have you watched the anime at least?
I have watched the anime.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's gonna be a long process to teach you, but we're gonna teach you how to play the game. And I only have one question for you. Are you ready to duel?
I am ready to duel.
He's ready to duel, guys. Okay.
Okay, so we have another game with Mr. Daniel here. Unfortunately, we don't have chairs here, so we have to stand up, which is unfortunate for us, but it's fine. So we both stand up, and I go first because I win the rock, paper, scissors. So I do a T set, and then I pass my turn. I teach him about the rules, like you pretty much can have only 5 monsters, and then 5 spells and traps, and then you can only normal summon once per turn. Okay, so he starts off his turn, he knows how to draw. He draws for turn here. So he activates Cold Wave here, and he shows me a Morphing Jar that's face up on the field. So definitely a misplay on his part. Now that I know that he has a Morphing Jar and if he plans on setting it, I definitely fully intend on flipping my Raikou and destroying the Morphing Jar. So I definitely use his noviceness to my advantage. So he summons the Morphing Jar in attack position. I tell him maybe you should just set it or just keep it in your hand. And then I tell him that about the battle positions that you can't you can't normal summon in defense mode. You have to either set it down or you have to normal summon in attack mode. So he decides to, I believe he decides to set it as opposed to actually playing it. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so he sets the morphing jar telling me that it's actually morphing jar, and I'm just like, okay, I guess I know what it is now. And then he doesn't set any back row because he cannot because of cold wave, so he's pretty much priced into just setting and passing unless he fully intends on summoning and attacking. So he is playing the quick draw deck that I made pretty much in a makeshift. It's like a makeshift quick draw deck. So I made it with the cards that I had, and ideally you could technically use Cold Wave and then activate Summon Debris Dragon and then make a Dandelion and then go into Black Rose. So that's the idea behind Cold Wave, but he decides to spend the Cold Wave right away, and then I destroy his Morphing Jar, and then when I destroy a card, pretty much send it to the graveyard without him doing anything. He thinks that he's able to get the flip effect of Morphing Jar, but since I am flipping Raikou, he's unable to do it. So I mill 3 cards here, and I mill nothing good. I summon the Dark Refer here, and then I discard a Dark Monster, and I discard a Sirocco. So this way I can have my Vayu play right away, so I can send a Vayu. Yeah, I send the Vayu. The question is whether I do it this turn or the next turn. I think I decide to use Vayu's effect right away so that I can press more damage in. I explained to him that Vayu lets me Synchro Summon from the graveyard, and to bring out an Arm Wing for my extra deck. So this together would put, I believe, 4,200 damage on board. So that's why I can put him on a clock, essentially. So yeah. And obviously the attack order is going to be Raikou first, and then Crepper, and then Arm Wing after. So yeah. So I take him down to, I believe, 3,800 life points. So if he can't deal with my board, then it's pretty much lethal. Next turn, after this turn, the Cold Wave is no longer alive anymore, so my set back row will be able to be triggered on the next summon or attack. I think I have a Deep Prison set or a Royal Oppression set. I'm not entirely sure, I forgot. Alright, so he draws Return here, and the funny thing about these sleeves is that it's super slippery, so even if he tries to draw from it, like everything just falls apart. It's kind of crazy that sleeves do that. And then after a while, it gets molded in, so that it never does that anymore. Alright, so he draws Return here, and see what he does. Looks like he summons a Debris here, and unfortunately Debris Dragon cannot revive the Morphing Jar because Morphing Jar does have a 700 attack. So unless it's 500 attack, he would be able to revive Morphing Jar and make an Iron Chain Dragon. But unfortunately, he just summons in an attack position. I let him know that he could just take it back so that he could use it for a different reason. Just summon a different monster, so he doesn't have to commit to this play. He takes back the Debris here because I let him, and he summons the Card Trooper, and I explain to him what it does. This way, if I do have a response to the Card Trooper summon, he would at least allow him to draw a card. So if he mills 3 here, he can pretty much attack over something. He mills a Dandelion, which is pretty good for him. And then he gets the 2 tokens to the field, so I pretty much put 2 tokens on his side of the field. And now he can declare an attack on either my Greffer or my Raikou, depending on what he wants to do here. I think I instruct him to attack over the Greffer, but I think I have a D-Prison set, and I think I let him attack over it just because I want him to at least have some sort of battle damage. But I can easily have just used a D-Prison. So it's up to him whether he wants to do it. I flip the cards upside down so he can know which monster is stronger and which one's not. So yeah, okay. He chooses to attack over the Raikou here, and then I take 12. I explained to him how much life point I would take if Card Trooper attacks over the Raikou, and that would be a 1,700 life points. So I take 1,700 life points here, and then Raikou gets destroyed by battle. Okay, and then I asked him if he wants to pass. I could have totally de-prisoned his Card Trooper, but I decided not to because I want to give him at least some sort of a chance. Granted, he does have the scapegoats, so yeah. He does MST after attacking with Card Trooper, which he could have done right away. So I show him that it's a D-Prison, so I could have definitely D-Prisoned his Card Trooper. Let him know that after a spell card is being used up, it gets sent to the graveyard right away. Okay, and then he sets a back row and he passes here. Pretty much anticipating the Mirror Force, so I just try to play around the Mirror Force here. Some of the Plague Spreader Zombie here, it is a tuner, so I go immediately into a Stardust Dragon. And I try to explain to him what Synchro Summoning is. It's a pretty difficult concept for some reason to grasp as a beginner player, is to pretty much explain what a tuner is and what is a non-tuner. So I pretty much tell him that if I can add up the non-tuner with a tuner, I can make a level 8 Synchro, and that's what I do. So I make a Stardust here. And I explained to him what Stardust does, that if he activates anything that could destroy my card, I can just simply negate and destroy it. And then he comes back at the end phase. Okay, I contemplate whether I want to go Goyo Guardian, and I definitely do want to make Goyo Guardian. I think I put a Vayu on top of my deck so I can special summon the Plague Spreader. And then if I steal the Card Trooper, I could just mill the Vayu straight to the graveyard. And that's the line I decided to do. So the Stardust will be able to play around the Mirror Force, and then the Goyo Guardian will be able to steal the Card Trooper, and then I can mill a Vayu, and then pretty much hopefully another Sirocco. But the Vayu, if I do mill it, I'll be able to use Vayu with the Arm Wing that I used. That's in the graveyard because of the Stardust. So I do have follow-up play after that. So he activates Mirror Force here, and then I tell him I can negate with Stardust, and then I tell him he can just take it back if he wants to. But he says, nah, I'm going to commit to this play, and then he puts the Mirror Force to the graveyard. My attack goes through, and I steal his Card Trooper. So he's going to be taking 2400 damage. And then I steal his Card Trooper. Yeah, main phase 2, I use Card Trooper's effect. I could mill 1, but I definitely wanted to hit the Sirocco, so I decided to mill 3. And I mill my Dark Arm Dragon and my Vayu. Unfortunate. I mean, unfortunate for me that I lost my Dark Arm and my Return of the Burial. So those are really 2 power spells, or those are 2 power cards that I need for most matchups. Okay, so then he draws Return here, and now he decides whether he wants to do something. So he summons Debris here. He can easily go into a Black Rose, but the issue is that I do have a Stardust that will prevent him from blowing up my field. So he could make a Red Dragon Archfiend to pretty much run over the Stardust. So that's what I would do in this situation. Instead of making a Red Dragon Archfiend, he just goes straight into a Stardust. So he would have to synchro away all his guys except for one token. If he had saved his Mirror Force, he would have been able to negate my Stardust if he resolves the Mirror Force on my Stardust. So that was pretty much a bummer for him. He could have definitely used the Mirror Force more securely. I think he has Pot of Avarice in his hand, so I think he decides to attack over the Card Trooper and then get a draw. I think he only has like 4 monsters, if I believe so. Yeah, he only has 4 monsters, so I instruct him that he can just attack over the Card Trooper and then get the 5th monster in the graveyard. Okay, so I attack over the Card Trooper and it goes to the graveyard, and now he's going to activate Pot of Avarice to put 5 monsters back as I instructed him, and then he's going to be able to draw 2 cards here. Alright, so he's able to recover somehow, except I can steal his Stardust with the Goyo Guardian. So hopefully he can draw into a back row that can deal with my Goyo. Otherwise, this Stardust is getting stolen. Alright, so he draws 2 cards here. And then now, let's see what he does here. He activates Foolish Burial here. I'm not sure what he can Foolish Burial. Downline wouldn't help him because he is kind of like clogged to 4 cards. So yeah. I think he sends a Caius for no reason. I don't think he knew what the combos were in this deck. But yeah, definitely Quick Draw is one of those not beginner friendly decks. But I mean, essentially it teaches you the fundamentals to some degree. You can set a Right Ghost, Tribute for Caius, normal summon Debris, make up a Black Rose play. So I definitely think Quick Draw isn't that too difficult to pilot. I draw for turn here, I go straight to battle phase, and I attack over a Stardust, and then I steal it. And then he takes 300 damage, and I just attack over a token. So definitely the downline tokens are definitely stalling the game a little bit for game 1, but I don't mind it, as long as I'm able to teach a new player how to play the game. He does have the possibility of drawing or summoning Debris here to make a Red Dragon again, so at least he can be able to destroy Stardust. Probably would attack over the Stardust in attack mode. So he activates Charge of Light Brigade here, and he has to mill 3 cards here to search for Light Swarm. Okay, he mills the top 3 cards of it, and he mills a downline. So lucky for him, he's able to make a Red Dragon Archfiend without summoning the downline. So he does have 4 tokens, so that's going to equal to 8. And then I'll be able to clear one of my monsters. So he adds the Reiko to his hand, and then he doesn't present his deck to shuffle, but that's fine. Then he can definitely Synchro Summon here if he wants. Okay, so he finally makes a Red Dragon Archfiend here. So now what he's going to do with that attack. Okay, it looks like he decides not to attack here. I would have definitely attacked, but now I draw for turn and split the Reiko and kill it. So this is pretty much game here, so I just pretty much, with all the firepower that I have, I can just pretty much game. I think he only had like 2300 life points, so then he takes the damage and then it's game. Alright, yeah, congrats Daniel for trying, but yeah. So let's see if I can find another challenger who can play against me. Alright, next one.
What's up, guys? We have yet another duelist who wants to challenge the master. Okay, what is your name?
William.
William. Alright, William, have you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh before?
Twice.
Twice?
Couple times.
Twice, a couple times. Okay. What was your first time you played?
I played with my cousin.
Yeah.
Like Years ago.
Years ago. What? Give me like a year.
2015.
2015. Okay, so the format we're gonna be playing is a 2010 format.
2010.
So whatever cards were out at the time, we're gonna be playing with those cards.
Okay.
Are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
Okay. Are you ready to duel?
I'm ready to
Let's duel.
Okay, so this time the other opponent just finally decided to use the red sleeve. So a lot of my opponents have been choosing the green sleeves. So I guess green was really popular that day. So I do a T set, playing the quick draw deck, and then my opponent's playing the value turbo deck. All right, so let's see what he does after my T set. Okay, he sets one card to his back row, and then he sets. So he matches me with the T set here. Okay, and then I think he passes here, so I draw. I definitely flip my Raikou. Looks like Raikou is a very popular card into our matchup. So I destroyed his back row here in case it's torrential. So I did or a bottomless, and then I destroy it. Looks like I destroy his Caius that was set, so that definitely should not be there. and now I can tribute the Raikou here for a Caius if I do have it. I summoned a Lone Fire here so I can at least tribute it. I guess I didn't catch that I destroyed a Caius on his back row, so that's definitely a misplay. Tribute the Lone Fire here and I make a Dandelion in defense mode, and then I do have a limit reverse set, so I can just flip it, and this way I can just tribute the Dandelion here, and then I can go into the plays basically. Where I end on a Titanium and Lone Fire in defense mode and 2 Dandelion tokens. Okay, I use Lone Fires here to tribute the face-up attack position Lone Fire, and now I can end on Titanium. Limit Reverse is a pretty cool card. I thought about playing like True Nade in this deck so that I can at least recycle the Limit Reverse, but I'm not too sure if I want to continue keep playing Quick Draw after having a long day of playing the deck. So the Titanium declares an attack on the face-down monster. And then, funny thing enough, it's a trap card. So it looks like this guy really does not know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh at all, despite playing it several years ago in 2015. So I tell him to take back the Dust Tornado, put it back in his deck, or put it back in his hand. So this way he can just set a different monster. So he sets a Sirocco, which is actually pretty legal because Sirocco can set himself after as long as I control a monster. He doesn't. Alright, so then my Titanium runs over his 900 defense, and then he sends it to the graveyard. Alright, not so bad. So we have a Caius that was destroyed by a Raikou in the spawn trap zone, and I didn't catch it, so I guess I'm equally bad. And then I attack into a Dust Tornado, so that's just happened. Okay, so he takes the 200 direct damage, and then I pass turn here. So let's see what he does on his following turn. Hopefully he's able to at least make his summons worth it, putting the spells and traps in the right zone, and then summoning the monsters in the right zone as well. Okay, he begins his turn by just setting a card face down, and then I think he just passes here with no back row. Oh, it looks like he actually does set a back row. Okay, cool. Alright, so we know that that's kind of a Dust Tornado set, unless it's another trap card that he drew into. So I start my turn here, and then now I begin my turn. Most likely I sacrifice the card for a, oh, it looks like a Heavy Storm first, in case it is something. Okay, I destroy his Dust Tornado, and then now I can just tribute for a Caius here, and then just banish his monster. So then, since I banished his Dark Reference, he's going to be taking another 1,000. He was pretty shook by that effect damage. And then if I attack directly here, he's going to potentially drop Gores on me, but I don't care. I just decide to swing anyways for 24 and 28, and then he takes 5,200 damage. So that's a total of 6,200 damage with the Caius burn. And I think I attacked last turn? No, I didn't. So he's at 1,800 life points here, if I remember correctly. So he drops return here, and now let's see what he does. Okay, now he summons a Raikou in attack position, and I tell him that, hey, Raikou is better off just being set. The issue is that it's either pretty much he loses if he puts it in attack mode, but he also loses if he puts the face on defense position because I do have a Titanium here. So pretty much this game's a wrap. On the following turn, I could just pretty much attack with the I can attack with the Caius here, and then if he tries to resolve the Raikou, I can just negate with Titanium, and then just attack him for the remainder of his life points. So yeah, pretty much a wrap here. Yeah, go into battle phase as I said before, attacking to the Raikou, and then he tries to target something, and then I just negate and destroy with the Titanium. Yeah, and that's game. All right, cool. Yeah, congrats for trying Duelist number 3. So yeah, hopefully you'll have better luck in the future. All right, on to the next one.
What is up, guys? We have yet another victim to the master here at the Ichigo Con. So what is your name, by the way?
My name is Craig.
Have you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh before?
I have, yeah.
You have? What's the first format that you played?
Whatever the OG was, like before Synchro and all that.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
So you've never played Synchros before?
No, not in person, but
Okay.
now I've played Master Duel, so I'm a little more.
Master Duel
I'm a little
player.
more
Oh,
up to
shoot.
date.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little more up to
All right,
date.
so I only have one question for you.
Yeah.
Are you ready to duel?
I am always ready to duel.
Okay, let's duel.
Alright, so this guy is actually more of a challenge than the other ones. So we played a best out of 3, but I'm only going to show you one game, which is our last game, which was really, really close. So I go first on the last game because I did lose game 2 to him. So yeah, so I summon the Lone Fire here, and I go into the second Lone Fire, and then I go into the Titanium. I never know if I should ever leave the Lone Fire in the deck, so this way I can draw into it and go into a Dandelion. But I think I I definitely factored that in, and I decided to go for this play because in case I draw into a Pot of Avarice, I would at least have 2 monsters in my graveyard, so that I can Avarice easier. So yeah, I set up back row. I think it's a bottomless trap hole that I set, and then I pass turn over to him. So he activates the Lure of Darkness here, he draws 2, and I think he banishes a Elf in the Raven. So you don't see it on the screen, but he definitely does banish the Elf in the Raven here. Alright, so he activates Grepper, I believe. I tell him about priority, because priority is a thing in this game, and then I instruct him that he can just pitch a card right away before I respond. I have the option of activating the Bottomless Trap Hole, but I choose not to because there's really no need to activate Bottomless Trap Hole to a Grepper, as it is not a threat to Titanial. So even if he does bring out the Arm Wing here, I'm not too worried about it. So I think I did Bottomless when he does go for the Sirocco line. I think I go for the Bottomless play for when he makes the Arm Wing because I don't want him to brain control and then force me to tribute summon for, tribute the Titanial to negate the brain control. So I draw for turn here, and then on draw phase he activates the Dust Tornado right away to destroy the Bottomless Trap Hole. He knows that if I summon a plant monster, or if I somehow bring a token out, he won't not be able to use the Dust Tornado because I can just tribute the token instead of losing the Bottomless Trap Hole. So I shift the Titanial to a defense position, and I declare an attack on with the Cartridge to play around the Mirror Force. So this was a pretty good play on my part, I think. Because Titanial is really difficult to run over, even in defense mode. So I set another back row here. He activates the Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, tributing a card. He tributes the Necro Gardener here, and then I choose to negate and destroy the Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. I definitely do not want to draw into Titanial for the next turn, so I definitely decide to do this play instead. Especially since the card trooper can be destroyed on the following turn, and then I'll have to draw the Titanial. So I definitely choose to negate with the Titanial effect. So he starts his turn again. Now he has his Necro Gardener in graveyard. I believe he also has a... what else does he have? I remember seeing him use the Dust Tornado and then destroying my... yeah. So now he has the Arm Wing play, so he's going to go straight to the Arm Wing. I do not have my Bottomless Trap Hole anymore. I do have a Torrential set, but I want to make sure that he commits more resources before I Torrential here, as he did not normal summon yet. So maybe he can sacrifice for a Caius, and then I'll Torrential, or he just summons a tuner monster. I do play Deep Sea Diva in that deck for some reason. I thought it was a good idea, and it sounds pretty good actually, because if you manage to get a value in the graveyard after the Arm Wing comes down, you can normal summon the Diva, and then you can synchro summon the Arm Wing into level 8 synchro, and then the value in the graveyard with the Arm Wing can make a Armor Master. That's essentially why I decided to play the Deep Sea Diva in the deck. Okay, so he sets a card, sets a monster down, and then I'm deciding on what to do now. I think I run out of steam here, so I'm pretty much in a bad position. I think I set a Raikou, I'm not entirely sure. And then he flips his Raikou, destroying my Raikou. I think that's what ends up happening here. And then he flips a Raikou, see if he targets what he targets here. So I chain my Torrential to the Raikou summon here. So I think it was a Sangan actually. Yeah, it was a Sangan. Okay, so the Sangan, I debated whether I wanted to add the Quick Draw Synchron to my hand or a Dandelion. I think I ended up going with the Quick Draw Synchron because it has more utility. Because I can just special summon it right away. I also had a Night Assailant in my hand, so I think Night Assailant has the effect where if I discard it even for a cost, I'm allowed to add the Night Assailant back to my hand. So I wasn't sure about that ruling, but I went ahead and did it anyways. So this way I have a body on board that I can just tribute summon for Archias. So yeah, I definitely go for the Quick Draw Synchron here. So he still has his turn. I think I counted the number of darks in his graveyard. I think he had like maybe 2 darks. So I didn't want to put a 3rd dark in his graveyard. Or maybe he did have a 3rd dark already. And I had enough life points to pretty much survive his 1 dark arm swing. Because he hasn't normal summoned yet. So if he normal summons, he can put me down to 0. Well, I don't know, 28 from 61 would be, I can't do math right now, but it wouldn't be enough for him to clear me. Even if he summons like a 3000 beat stick, it would only be 5800 damage. So I draw for turn here, and I think I draw into a hamster, if I remember correctly. And I think the hamster didn't have enough targets. I think I ran out of Rikos here. Or maybe I drew a Trigodia, I forget. Yep, so I set a card here and I pass. So let's see what it is. Now the opponent draws for turn, and now he's able to summon his Dark Arm if he chooses to do so, and he can just pop my set if he has it. Of course, he does have 3 darks, so we're not sure what he's gonna do here. Okay, so he summons the value here, and he attacks into my Raikou. So this is a pretty good play for him because, for one, if I do choose to destroy his value, he can just use the value to Synchro Summon in his graveyard, and he does have the Arm Wing in his graveyard, so I do decide to destroy the value because I don't want him to have a well, now he has 4 darks in his graveyard, so even if he does bring up a Dark Arm, it would be impossible for him since he only has 2 darks after the value play. Okay, so he makes the Armor Master, so if I somehow destroy the Armor Master here, it would put the 3rd dark in his graveyard, so I definitely consider that not putting the monster to the graveyard right away. I activate Pot of Avarice, which is a good top deck for me, so I can at least come back in the game. I put back the Caius and the 2 low fires, and I think I put 1 more monster back. Yeah, I put a Big Dragon back, because I do have a Dandelion in the graveyard, so I can at least make a Black Rose, or some sort of play. And then I can end on 2 tokens, which is the more important part. I also have a Quick Draw Synchron in my hand with the Night Assailant. So this allows me to pretty much push in the Caius if I need to. So if I manage to banish the Armor Master, he'll only have 2 darks in his graveyard, so that's a good thing for me. Yep, so here I do the play where I discard a Night Assailant, and then I add the Night Assailant back. Not sure if that was a legal play. I feel like in GOAT you're allowed to do that. So then I tribute for Caius here, and then he takes 1000. And I think I choose not to attack directly because if I attack directly, his Gorz is going to be a real big punish. So I pass with this Caius up, with no back row either. So with 2 darks in his graveyard, he'll have to find a way to get the 3rd one. He sets a back row and he passes here. And now that he has a back row, I'm more comfortable to attack because if the attack gets responded to, then he can't take damage and therefore he can't bring out the Gorz. So that was good for me. I think I set a monster and I pass. Yeah. Then now it's back to him. Okay, and then now what does he do here? He activates Charge of Light Brigade, and he mills 3 cards. He mills the 3rd dark, so unlucky for me, and he mills a Diva. Okay, so if he has Dark Arm, I'm in really big trouble here. So here he adds the Lightsworn to his hand. Most likely going to be a Raikou. I mean, 100% it's a Raikou. And then he summons the Dark Arm. So with the 3 darks in his graveyard, he can definitely kill all my field. And check the Gorz if I do have it. Okay, so he activates Dark Arm Dragon to destroy my set. And it was a Raikou, unfortunately for me. And then now he's going to use Gore. I believe he uses Dark Arm Dragon's effect again to destroy my Caius. Okay, now I have a direct damage here. I do have I believe I do have a Tragodia in my hand, but I decided not to. I decided not to drop it because I want the Tragodia to have value. Oh, never mind. I did drop Tragodia. Okay, so the Tragodia here could have been popped by the Necrogardener, but I tell him that if I draw another card, he'll go to the 3000 attack. And so I think he wages that with the, maybe he had a set D prison to deal with my Tragodia when I attack over the Dark Arm, but he also has the Necrogardener as well. So he opted not to use the effect of Necrogardener. I mean, he opted not to use the effect of Dark Arm to pop my Tragodia. So I go to 3000 attack, and I think I can switch to attack position and try to run over the Dark Arm to force his Necrogardener. Okay, and then he Necrogardeners here. So the cool thing about this play is that he would have to find another way to put a Dark in the graveyard, and if that set card is a Raikou, he can simply flip it to kill my Tragodia anyways, and he would also put Darks in my graveyard. So if I set a back row here, he can flip the Raikou to destroy my back row, and then if he mills a Dark, he can just destroy my Tragodia. So I decided to do a play to where I can mitigate damage or like recover essentially. I noticed that I do have a brain control in my hand, so with my Kaius in my graveyard and my Sangan, I decided to brain control the Dark Arm, which is good for me. So the Dark Arm here, if he lets it resolve, I'll be able to pop everything. Well, the 2 cards on his field, so I do that. I pop his monster first, which was Raikou, which is good for me, and then I banish the Sangan to pop his set. Okay, so I haven't normal summoned yet, so what I did is I tribute summon his Dark Arm for a quick draw synchro, and then I copy Raikou. And then by copying Raikou, I can go into a level 7 Synchron monster, or Synchron material monster, which is going to be Junk Archer. I could make a Nitro Warrior, but I didn't feel that Nitro Warrior was good in this situation, because he could just set a Raikou, and I wouldn't be able to deal with it. So I just end on a Junk Archer here. And then I think I set 1 back row, and I pass. Yeah, I think that set was a Boku Moon if I remember correctly. And then now it's the ball's in his court. If he does summon a monster that's bigger than like he can make to a bigger monster, I can just Boku Moon it, and then my Junk Archer can deal with that. And if he does set a monster, I can just Junk Archer it away. So he sets a card here, which is playing into the Junk Archer. I draw for turn, and I think I summon a Debris Dragon here to make a level 7 synchro. I think I go into a Black Rose. Oh, I go for the mill strategy, so I mill 3 here, hopefully to hit a Dandelion, and I don't, and then I can go into a Black Rose here. So I remember not having a plant in my graveyard, so I decided to just use Junk Archer just to get it off the field, and then I can swing for 4700 damage, which is game. So this is pretty much game if he doesn't have Gores, and I attack him vertical. And that's game. Yeah, so that was a really close game. The Dark Arm was pretty scary in my opinion, just because he can do so much and then just pretty much kill me. Well, good thing I have the brain control, so brain control was definitely a saver for me. And then Tragodia being able to modulate his level was definitely a good play as well. But yeah, on to the next one. Congratulations to Craig for being the only other duelist to get a game off me. So hopefully I'll see you more in the future. Alright, on to the next one.
What's up, guys? We got another challenger who wants to challenge me in Yu-Gi-Oh! So what is your name?
Christian?
Have you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh! Before?
I have not.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to teach you everything to know about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm going to give you a random deck, and then you're going to try to beat me, okay?
Okay.
Alright, I have one question for you left.
Yeah.
Are you ready to duel?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Okay, so we're back to playing Value Turbo again, so now we're going to activate our Charge the Light Brigade. I love Charge the Light Brigade in Value Turbo. It just makes it so the opportunity cost is a lot less. Unfortunately for me, I mill all spells and traps. Well, what are you going to do? But at least I'll get the spells and traps out of the way, so that by Raikou, when it does resolve, I'll be able to get more Sirocco and Values in the graveyard, potentially. Okay, so most likely I set my Raikou here, and I just pass, unless I have a back row. Unlikely, since I did know a lot of spells and traps. So I think this hand was pretty clunky, if I remember correctly. I drew like triple Sirocco and 2 Kaises. So it was a really bad hand outside of the Raikou. So hopefully the Raikou is able to mill me something, because otherwise I'm going to be normal summoning Siroccos for days. So he draws return here on the left side. See what he does here. Hopefully he has some experience with the game. If he doesn't, then yeah, he's not going to do so well. Alright, so he activates Charge the Light Brigade here, and so he's going to mill 3 cards off the top of his deck. Hopefully he mills something. He mills a card trooper, which is pretty good. This way he can revive off the debris, and then he can just use the card trooper to mill as a cost, and hopefully he'll be able to mill a dandelion token. So we'll see what happens here. For sure he's going to be adding the Raiko here. It would probably be a mistake to set the Raiko because I can just flip my Raiko. He knows I have it face down, so I can just simply flip it over and just kill the Raiko if he chooses to set it. So we'll see what he does here. Okay, he sets the card and he passes, and then I draw for turn. I flip my Raiko here, and then I just decide to destroy his Raiko. And then from here I can probably summon a Lone Fire Blossom to go into Titanial here. We'll see what happens here. Oh, I forgot I'm playing Value Turbo, so I won't not be doing that play. I can summon a Spirit Reaper and attack him directly, and then discard a card from his hand. Okay, I attack him for 200 here. And then I have the option of sending a card after the Raiko, or I could tribute the Raiko for Sirocco, as Sirocco is probably the better play here, as it would not... if I did tribute for Caius here, he would have to target himself, so... I attack with the Raiko first, because in case he does have a Gores, the Gores token will only be a 200 attack, and then I would need some way to deal with the Gores. So I would just tribute the Raiko for Caius, and then just banish the Gores off the field. That was my plan if he had the Gores, but he doesn't. I set another back row and I pass here, and let's see what he does next for his following turn. Okay, he sets a Spell and Trap. And then he activates Heavy Storm. I tell him that, like, you might as well just take back the Spell and Trap and then activate the Heavy Storm first. And then this way he can just set his Spell and Trap without wasting it. So this is good for him. So then he sets another Spell and Trap and he passes without summoning a monster. So I draw for turn here. Okay, and then I summon Diva here. The Diva here allows me to put the Sirocco to the graveyard. This way I can use the Vayu and the Sirocco to make the arm wing. And then I choose not to blow up the field here. But yeah, definitely a misplay not to use to make a Stardust here, because I could definitely deal with the Diva on the field. So here I attack with the Black Rose, and he flips over the Mirror Force. Yeah, so he flips over the Mirror Force and destroys the Black Rose. Okay, so we definitely got a misplay out of the way. So yeah, definitely in the future, if you have this board where you have the opportunity to make the arm wing and summon the Diva, because who plays Diva in Value Turbo? This guy does. This way you can make the Stardust and then attack Stardust and the Black Rose into the field, so that he can negate the Mirror Force. So main phase 2, I decide to make the Stardust anyways, this way that I can negate any one of his Black Rose play that might come down, and then I simply pass. Alright, so he sets 3 back rows for his turn, and I think he just passes here. Okay, I draw for turn. Hopefully none of those cards are Deep Prisons, otherwise I'm pretty much in a bad position here. I attack directly for 2500, hopefully he has nothing, and he doesn't, so he takes another 25 here. I think I set a Raiko after this, or I simply just pass. Yeah, simply just pass. If he manages to summon another monster, I can just top deck for the Plague Spreader and then just tribute for the Caius that's in my hand. Alright, so he sets another new back row, so most likely that's going to be my Caius target, because he didn't respond to my attack declaration with the Stardust. So most likely he doesn't have a Deep Prison, so that 4th card will most likely be a Deep Prison. So, oh, it looks like I just summoned a card trigger here, and then I just mill 3. And then I mill a Vayu, so this way the Vayu and the Arm Wing can make an Armor Master. And then now I have a lot of pressure, so I attack in the order of 1900 first, and then the Armor Master, and then Stardust. Okay, and that's game. Alright, so it looks like his back rows weren't anything to be afraid of. So I think I flip over this trap cards to see what they were, and it was like a bunch of dead cards. It was Avarice, Dust Tornado, and what was his last one? It was Titanial. So he drew like the worst hand possible with that deck. And he had a Starlight Road set too. So unfortunate for him. Alright, well, good try, and then hopefully I'll see you more in the future, sir. Alright, on to the next one.
What's up, guys? We got another challenger who wants to play me in Yu-Gi-Oh! What is your name?
Andy.
And have you played Yu-Gi-Oh! Before?
Duel Links.
Duel Links? Okay, cool. So since you haven't played that much, I'm going to teach you how to play. You're going to choose a random deck, and you're going to try to face me with it. I have one question left. Are you ready to duel?
Yes, I am.
All right, cool.
Alright, this is gonna be the last game for the series here. I hope you guys have been enjoying the random challenges that I've been having throughout the event. So, again, I win the die roll, or I win the rock paper scissors, and I go first. And obviously, for some reason, Charge the Light Brigade goes to my hand, so I activate that card right away, and then I mill 3, and I don't mill any Vayus or Sirocco, so it feels bad, man. I add a Raikou to my hand, and then I allow him to cut my deck. And then most likely here, I'm going to set the Raikou here with this T set, basically. The set card, the back road is probably a repression, so I let Luigi go up next and see what he does here. Okay, so he sets the card here and he passes here. I don't know why a lot of players that are new like to just set or just mimic what I was doing, but you should never probably do that, especially if you're a beginner. So he set the card and then I just flip my Raikou and I just pop it, so which was pretty unfortunate for him. So then I mill 3 cards here, hopefully I mill a Bayou, and I mill a Necrogarna and a Sirocco. Perfect. So all I need now is a Bayou in the graveyard, and I'll be able to Synchro Summon from my graveyard. Declare an attack directly with Spirit Reaper, and hopefully I can hit a card out of my hand. Technically I did misplay, I should have attacked directly with Raikou first, but it doesn't really matter because the Spirit Reaper can take a card out of his hand. Even if he does drop Gores, the Gores and the Gores token would only do... it wouldn't kill the Spirit Reaper, as Spirit Reaper cannot be destroyed with battle. Okay, so now I do a pass without doing much, and now it's his turn. I do have a Necrogardener in my graveyard, so I can definitely negate the next attack. So if he does summon a big monster, I can just simply banish the Necrogardener from my graveyard and just negate the attack. That's what I really love about Necrogardener, is that it can be applied from the grave. Okay, so he activates the brain control here, and I tell him that if he targets the Spirit Reaper, Spirit Reaper can just blow up in response to the target. So I instruct him that he should definitely target the Spirit Reaper here, and he does. So the Spirit Reaper dies from the brain control. I'm not sure what he had in hand. If he did have a Caius in hand, I would have taken the Raikou, but I asked him if he didn't have a play after that. He says, no, I don't. So then Spirit Reaper dies here. Otherwise, he can just tribute for the Caius and just banish the Spirit Reaper. Okay, so he takes 800 damage here, and he can definitely do another play if he has an opportunity to do so. Okay, he tries to normal summon Lone Fire in defense mode. I don't know if it's the anime that's making people do this, or it's Duel Links. But Duel Links, I think Duel Links you can normal summon in face up defense position, but I'm not entirely sure about that, so don't quote me. So definitely, he tries to normal summon in defense. I tell him that you can only normal summon it in face up attack or set it face down defense. It's a really tricky thing to teach to somebody new, but yeah. So I asked him just to normal summon the Lone Fire and then tribute himself because he is a plant monster, and then go into a Taniel. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Okay, so he tries to use Lone Fire's effect, and then I just chain Oppression to negate the special summon of Titanium, or the special summoning effect of Lone Fire, so it stays in the graveyard. Alright, so I'm in a pretty good spot here, especially because of Oppression, so I can definitely capitalize on the next turn. Okay, so he sets a spell or trap on the field, and then he passes. I draw for turn here, so I have the option of potentially tributing for Caius here, but it looks like I go for the Greffer play. The Greffer play will allow me to use Vayu's effect from the graveyard, even under Oppression, so you guys all know how good it is. Being able to summon, or special summon, even under Oppression is a very good feeling. Okay, I discard a Vayu from my hand. This is the prime time for me to send the second Vayu. This way, if I do lose the monster to a torrential tribute, I can just use the second Vayu to go into Armor Master. Okay, so I banish the Sirocco and the Vayu here to go into Armwing. And then I have 4,200 damage on board, assuming that face down isn't anything. Okay, so it looks like he takes all the damage. And now he's at 300 life points. Actually, he's at 3,000 because of the brain control. Or maybe less. He's probably at 28 because of the Raikou attacking directly. And the Spirit Reaper too, so that would put him at 23? No, 25. Yeah, so he's at 2,500 life points here. Okay, he draws his MST, he destroys the Royal Oppression. so good on him for drawing that. And now he can definitely special summon. If he has a Black Rose play, he can definitely recover. However, also I can recover because I have value. Okay, he activates the face down limit reverse. This way he can revive his Lone Fire. And then by tripping the Lone Fire, he can go into a Titanial. Okay, so he finally summons the Titanial here. And so if he tries to run over any of my monsters, I can just use Necrogardener to block the attack. Okay, so he declares an attack on the Armwing, and then I use Necrogardener. In hindsight, I probably should have let him attack over the Armwing because I can get a stronger monster from Bayou. Okay, so I just revealed the Brain Control to him, and pretty much since he's at only 2,500 life points, I could just pretty much end the game here. I think he tells me that he has a Gores in hand, and unfortunately the limit reverse stays in the field because even if you tribute the Lone Fire off the field, the limit reverse stays. It's the same with Call Haunted. So I activate Brain Control, and then he tributes the Titanial, and then that's pretty much game. So I win here. Yep, so nice try, Mr. Luigi, but definitely try again on the next feature. I hope you enjoyed the Ichigo Con video. Yeah, I put a lot of work into this, so I hope you guys liked it. So then maybe I'll try to do more in the future when I do go to convention centers. Alright, peace out guys.